This is the Flow Dynamics CCST300. In this video, we are going to describe the operation of the system. This machine is fully automatic. It recovers, recycles, it evacuates the AC system, it recharges the AC system. It also adds oil to the air conditioning system. It is EPA certified for R134A service. The CCST300's control panel consists of a display, keypad, and a printer, and gauges. And down below we have the service hoses and two machine taps, a high and a low side machine tap. On the control panel, the major controls are start, enter, stop, reset, and your up and down arrow keys. You'll use the start function to start an operation, the enter function to select an operation, the stop key to stop an operation, reset to reset back to the main menu or to a previous menu, the arrow keys to select an operation, and the numeric keypad you'll use to make entries such as the amount of time you will evacuate the system, or the amount of refrigerant you will charge, or the amount of oil that you will charge into the system. On the display, whatever is flashing is the operation that you are currently going to select. If I were to press enter now, I would be selecting assisted procedure. To set up the CCST300, we're going to remove the back panel, remove the scale travel pin, connect the quick disconnect valves to the service hoses, connect the system hoses. We're going to check the vacuum pump oil level, fill the internal cylinder, and fill the oil supply bottle. To remove the back panel on the CCST300, remove the 6 screws, 2 at the top, 2 in the middle, and the 2 at the very bottom. After the screws are removed, lift the back panel off and set it aside. To remove the travel pin from the CCST300, move the bottles, the oil bottles, out of the way, locate the travel pin located underneath the scale platform, loosen the number 10 nut, and unscrew the travel pin. Locate the R134A quick disconnects in the bag that comes with the machine. Make sure the blue goes on the blue hose and the red one screws on to the red hose. Make sure that there is an O-ring in place and screw it on. To connect the system hoses, locate the female half acme ends. We're going to place the blue hose under the blue machine tap, hand tighten, and the red under the red tap, hand tighten. To check the vacuum pump oil level, locate the vacuum pump at the lower left side, the back of the machine. Make sure that the oil level is at the oil level line. The last step in preparing the CCST300 is to transfer refrigerant from an external source to the internal bottle. Before doing so, we want to check the external tank to make sure that it is R134A. We only want R134A moving into this machine. To do so, use a commercially available refrigerant identifier. They come with tank adapters, so you may screw that on to the adapter. Put your quick disconnect fitting on the tank, open the valve, you're going to take the sample from the liquid state, so the tank will be right side up. Take your sample. When you verify that your sample is pure R134A, you may proceed with the transfer operation. To transfer refrigerant from the external bottle to the internal bottle, first we'll connect the adapter to the tank that comes with the machine. Then connect the red hose, high side hose, to the adapter. Open it. Open the refrigerant tank hose. And since we will be transferring refrigerant from the liquid source, we want to turn a virgin tank upside down. If we're taking refrigerant from a recovery tank, make sure you're connected to the liquid port. To do the transfer operation, we will first select Next Menu. Using the arrow key, we'll arrow down to Next Menu, press Enter. We will arrow down to Bottle Filling, press Enter. We will tell the machine how much refrigerant we want to bring in from an external source. In this case, I enter 10 for 10 pounds. The machine asks us to press Start. It says to open the high pressure hose, which we have done. Press Start. Then it says to open the high pressure tap, which we'll do, and then press Start. That begins the operation. The operation will cease when 10 pounds of refrigerant has been recovered. For the CCST300, you also want to put an initial amount of refrigerant oil into the system, at least 200 cc's of the oil that you're going to be using to charge vehicles. To do so, you'll locate on the bottom back panel the oil bottles. You'll remove the screw, push the tabs, remove the panel. That gives you access to the oil bottle. This is your new oil bottle. This is your used oil bottle. To remove, simply lift it off of the scale, turn the bottle to open. Fill the bottle with new oil, replace the cap, and spin the bottle to show your markations. Then put the bottle back on the scale. Replace your cover and screw your tab back on. When working around air conditioning systems, several machine safety guidelines should be observed. First, make sure equipment users are certified to operate R134A equipment through an EPA-recognized outlet. Second, make sure you use safety glasses and gloves when working around refrigerant. Do not expose the unit to direct sunlight or rain. Always use in a well-ventilated area. Always test AC refrigerant tanks to ensure that they contain a minimum of 98% pure R134A. Recovering gases other than R134A can cause damage to this equipment and to your customers' AC systems. To set up the ClimACs CCST300 for an automatic sequential operation, that is to recover, recycle, evacuate, oil charge, and refrigerant charge all in a sequence, follow these steps. First, connect the blue hose to the low side service port, the red hose to the high side service port, and open the valves. Next, come to the machine. You will see the automated procedure flashing. Press Enter to select the automatic procedure. Then enter the amount of vacuum time you would like to have the machine vacuum. Hit Enter. Then it asks you if you want to use the automatic oil sequence. Automatic oiling means that it's going to put back into the vehicle exactly what it took out. In this case, we'll select automatic oil by pressing Enter. Then it's going to ask us how much refrigerant we want to place in the vehicle. This car takes 2 pounds, 0 ounces, so we'll press in 2, 0, 1. Had it been 2 pounds, 12 ounces, we would press 2, 1, 2. Once we've done that, We press enter, and that starts the process. After the automatic operation, there will be a printout to let you know how much you vacuumed, how much oil was injected, and how much refrigerant was charged into the system. To use the assisted operation for the CCST300, arrow down to assisted operation till it begins to flash, press enter. We'll start with recovery recycling. To recover and recycle, press enter. The machine will tell you to open the high and low side valves and then press start. During the recovery process, the machine will remove the refrigerant from the vehicle, separate the oil from the refrigerant, remove air content as well as moisture from the refrigerant. The oil will be dumped into an oil bottle on the back of the machine. If you're using the automatic oil procedure, whatever oil was taken out will be put back in. After the recovery, the printout will indicate how much refrigerant came out of the vehicle. At the end of recovery, the machine may begin to beep and the air purge may begin to flash. If this happens, simply remove the left-hand panel, locate the air purge valve, open it slightly, and let it purge air until the flashing stops. When it stops flashing, close the purge valve. The machine will go into a vacuum mode. When it stops, the machine will begin to beep to let you know that the process is completed. To do an assisted procedure vacuum, arrow down to assisted procedure, press enter, arrow to vacuum, select the amount of time you want to vacuum. In this case, we selected 30 minutes by punching in 30. Press enter. The machine tells us to open the high and low side valves and press start. At the end of the vacuum, the machine will beep to indicate the end of the procedure, and it will print the amount of time that it vacuumed. The CCST300 also has a built-in feature. If you set the vacuum time for 20 minutes or greater, it will vacuum for 10 minutes, do an automatic leak test for 5 minutes, then resume vacuuming for the residual time. When the system's in a vacuum, you can add oil and recharge the system. If you'd like to add oil and recharge, go to Assisted Procedure, press Enter, arrow down to Oil, press Enter, indicate the amount of oil that you'd like to put into the system. This would be the same amount of oil that you may have recovered, or the same amount of oil that you took out of the system when you replaced a component. To enter 20 cc's, we type in 20, hit enter, and then press start to start the oil injection process. To add refrigerant using assisted procedure, arrow to assisted procedure, press enter, arrow to gas filling, indicate the amount of gas that you're going to be putting into the system. In this case, we entered 2 pounds, 8 ounces by entering 208 and press enter. The machine will indicate that it is ready to fill 2 pounds, 8 ounces. At this point, press start. The machine will charge the system to capacity and shut off automatically at the end of the charging process. The machine does come with a heater blanket. Heater blanket will come on if the pressure in the tank is less than 90 pounds of pressure. It will shut off automatically if the tank pressure exceeds 130 pounds psi. After charging the vehicle, you can check the system pressures by closing the machine taps, starting the vehicle, and looking at your high and low side pressures. After checking the system pressures to make sure the system is functioning, we want to clear the hoses of refrigerant. We want as much refrigerant going back into the vehicle from the hoses as possible. To do this, we will close the high side. We will open both machine taps. At this point, refrigerant from the red hose and the blue hose are being pulled into the low side of the system. When the gauges equalize, close the machine taps, turn off the low side service coupling, and disconnect. The CCST300 system maintenance includes filter changes, periodically testing the scale, and ensuring that the vacuum pump oil is refreshed. Filter change notification will display on the machine after 120 pounds of refrigerant has been recovered. When you change the filters, also replace the vacuum pump oil.